Hello and welcome to this Limerick Flying Club instructional video on the new Garmin GNC 215 navigation and communication radio. This radio will soon be fitted to all Club Technam aircraft and integrates fully with the newly installed Garmin 760 GPS navigation system with some useful advanced features. This video will take approximately 7 minutes to complete. In this video we will cover the basic indications and controls of the radio, basic and advanced features for both communications and navigation, how to use the GPS for frequency selections, and finally, how to use the emergency communications shortcut. The indications on the radio display itself are quite straightforward. The top left of the display indicates the active frequency. The bottom left of the display indicates the standby frequency. The right-hand side of the screen displays the navigation element or the submenu, depending on the selections made by the pilot. Now let's see some of the basic controls in action.
To switch it on, just turn the knob. Takes about 5 seconds to boot up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through all of the basic controls, and then we'll look at some of the more advanced controls. So this knob controls on, off and volume. We have two soft keys here that I'll talk about a little bit later on. We also have a monitor switch on the left hand side here, and what that does is it allows you to listen to the standby frequency as well. So you'll still be transmitting on the primary one, which is the green, but you'll be able to listen out on the standby one as well. On the right, we have the first button here is we have the toggle, so that moves the standby frequency to active. Okay. To change frequency, we use the outer knob to change the beat numbers and the inner knob to change the small numbers. The other, then there's a menu button here that goes through various different things, but you don't really need to be concerned about that. On the nav side, if you want to use the nav, which is on the right hand side here, it's very simple. You just press the inner button, the inner knob first. You can see now that that's highlighted, and it works the same way as before. Okay, so you just select whatever frequency you want and then press toggle to switch it over. Okay, so just to go back to where we were, okay, I just want to show you now some of the more advanced features that we have. You'll see one of the soft keys here is find com. So if we press that, it allows us to look through different ways of selecting the frequency. So we can start off with, by using the outer knob, we can select recent, which is probably the one that you'll use the most. User, which we don't really use at all. The database that's included in the radio, and the nearest. I'll go through each of these in turn. So going back to the recent, if you use the inner knob now, you can select all of the recent frequencies that have been selected. To select one, simply press the inner button, puts it on the standby, and then you can toggle that. Some other methods. User, as I said, we don't use. If we go to the database, it's very simple. Press the inner button to bring up the menu. The outer knob is used to select the various different digits, and the inner knob then changes them. So for example, there's Newcastle, press the center button, brings it up, press it again, and it goes into standby. The nearest, so it'll select all of the nearest radio stations, and you can use the inner knob to go further away. You can see there's Shannon, so the obviously nearest one is Kuna, Shannon, Abbeyfield, and further away. The outer knob then selects the different types of stations. So we've got the airport, we've got the various different air traffic control centres, so Shannon's obviously the nearest one. The FSS, this is different radio stations, and it's probably not really applicable to our use, so I would just ignore that. And then the weather stations, which is particularly useful. So for example, if we wanted to select the nearest weather station, which is obviously Shannon, press the inner button, it confirms its frequency, and press it again and it puts it into standby. All of the same functions are available for the nav. So very quickly I'll show you. So if we switch over to the nav, you see now standby, and the find button has switched to find nav. We click that, and similarly we have recent, user, database, or nearest. So the last function we have is to show you how you can select a frequency from the GPS. So for example, if I zoom out and just select Shannon as an example, so if I press Shannon, press airport info, gives you all the information about the airports. If we now press frequency, it lists all the frequencies associated with Shannon. If I press Shannon Tower here, you can see it transfers it into the standby, which can be then toggled to be active.
Finally, let's quickly discuss the emergency frequency shortcut on the Garmin radio. By pushing and holding either the volume power knob or the toggle button for a duration of 1.5 seconds, the radio automatically tunes and selects the COM emergency frequency of 121.5.